How's it going, guys? It's your boy, Lieutenant Dan, back from the dead, basically. And, man, after being out for a while and talking to the fans and being up there in Boston, you gotta tell me, man. This news today, tell me this doesn't excite you. Tell me this doesn't excite you. I had it set up to count down from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock if they were going to get a deal or not. And this right here, woof. Interior defensive line, give yourself a hand. Interior defensive line, give yourself a hand. You guys are making money. Money. Grady Jarrett signs the extension. $17 million a year. 4 years. Total is $68 million. Just broken through by Adam Schefter. And of course, now it's just flying through. Now it's just flying through the vines, the circling around the bend, and all of those good things. And honestly, who in here thought that this wasn't going to get done? I was one this morning that felt that things had taken a turn for the worst. Grady Jarrett's camp had unfortunately just played too much hardball. Just too much hardball to play. And you got to play these kind of things sometimes. Players know the new CBA's coming up. The NFL proprietors or owners, if you want to call them, they are trying to push for a extended season. And honestly, man, after having some time to reflect in the mountains up there in Vermont and seeing Boston for what it is and really having time to think to myself about the situation at hand, I came to the conclusion that $28 million was no good. $28 million was no good to pretend that Thomas Dimitroff was doing a good job if he did not get Grady Jarrett a contract today by 4 p.m. Eastern time and still allowed the Vic Beasley situation to fester. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, now that he has signed this deal, which is $2 million more than the franchise tag, we will see what the numbers actually say by the end of the day, and we'll have a more conclusive idea of what Thomas Dimitroff and company have done to this contract. But whether or not you believe this is a Falcons win on the ownership side or you believe that this is a win for the players, this is just a win for Falcons fans everywhere. If you did not believe in Grady Jarrett as being one of the top defensive tackles in the nation, and you didn't believe that Grady Jarrett deserved this money, then you were of the minority of Falcons fans who all believed without Grady Jarrett, this isn't getting done. Without Grady Jarrett, it's not getting done. And honestly, man, I've got just a sigh of relief. A sigh of relief. Because honestly, if we all look at it from a perspective that there were deadlines, correct? If we all look at it from a perspective that there were deadlines, then Grady Jarrett's contract was the most important thing to get out of the way. Not Vic Beasley, not Deion Jones, not Julio Jones, none of them. But honestly, now that my phone is absolutely blowing up, I feel like the next possible move for the Falcons, the next possible move for the Atlanta Falcons will be, okay, we got the Grady Jarrett deal done, and now it's on to Julio Jones, which will open up money. And depending on the actual contract numbers for this particular year, we're going to wait to see what Adam Schefter actually throws at us, because this will be interesting. By the way, make sure that you share this out, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. Make sure that you hit up the chat in here. We're live right now. Give us your thoughts currently on what Grady Jarrett means to this team. What do you think of this deal as I continue to talk through this deal and try to kind of process everything that has just gone on? And I know now Vaughn McClure is on this Deion Jones train. This is the next big thing that needs to be taken care of. But honestly, now that Grady Jarrett is taken care of, I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore, and here's why. I think a lot of you guys should probably not care who the next person is to get a contract or get an extension. I don't think anyone in here needs to really even care what happens next, because here's the reason why. Yes, Deion Jones is going to need a deal. Yes, Hooper's going to need a deal. Yes, Keanu Neal's going to be on a 5th-year option. Yes. There's things that need to be done. Julio Jones. But at the end of the day, 2020's team isn't going to look anything similar to what we have currently. Honestly, this team is going to look hella different when we get to 2020. There's a couple of reasons why. Because there's going to be money that needs to be freed up. Yes, we're going to pay attention to what happens to Julio coming up next, because he's the next person that's going to get done. Camp starts on the 22nd. We got plenty of time for that, about a week and a few days. We got quite a few preseason games coming up. And by the way, thank you to all the peeps that are in the chat right now, all the grounders who are in here. Jock, Jason Turner, NPC Rebel, Vlad Tapes. Good to see you. Tepes. Christopher Perkins. Kojak in here. Dross in the building. Raymond Elder. Matt Tate. Good to see all of you guys in the building. Juggy E. Fresh. And those of you just joining, thank you for tuning in. Grady Jarrett is under a deal. 4-year deal, $68 million. Schefter, still waiting for a Schefter reply to see how much money it is actually going to be for this particular year currently. And I'm honestly interested to see the year-to-year breakdown. I am honestly interested to see that coming up. But can we just take a moment and go, hey, look, Grady Jarrett under contract means that, boom, this team can now look forward. No camp problems. Nobody's holding out. No more situations. And this is what the Falcons organization has been about for the last couple of years, is there's no nonsense. There's no holdouts. There's no off-season drama. When it needs to get done, they get it done. Eric Taylor says that Schefter took a shot at Grady not ever being a Pro Bowler and getting this level of money. Yeah, honestly, I'm not. Look, if you're not a Falcons fan, you're just not going to understand, because you're not watching the games every single week. No more ramen noodles. I wish I could have Grady on the show. Honestly wish that I could have Grady on the show, because when I met him back in 2016, preseason 2016, and I stood there in front of him. I've said this on another show, and I want all of you guys to listen to this. This is really interesting. I stood there next to Grady Jarrett in 2016, and I took pictures with him in the players area, and I asked him, what is it that you want to be? And he said he wanted to be one of the greatest defensive tackles of all time. And I said, Grady, I don't know what it is, what's going to happen this year, but when it comes time to you getting paid, you're going to get paid. And it was funny because all he did was smile at me and be like, well, when we get there, we get there. And that is classic Grady Jarrett style. When we get there, we get there. When we get there, we get there. He was not even worried. He was not even worried. And obviously, they go off to the Super Bowl that year. Grady Jarrett turns up big in that Super Bowl. And I'm going to step back and I'm going to say, look, they wanted 18 to 19 million. The Falcons wanted to pay 15 to 16. They left a number open in the middle. Shit. They left that 17 million open in the middle, and maybe we should have caught that early on. Although the news really wasn't churning until maybe the last couple of hours. But who actually can predict those types of things? Discord link in the description, as well as Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. Make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Also, merch down at the bottom and donations as well as the Patreon. Look, man, 4 years, $68 million is nothing to scoff at. And, man, 17 per year would have been 15.2 had he just stayed with the franchise tag. And I think what's going to happen is this particular contract is going to get things moving in 2020 when this new CBA wraps up. Because, of course, the NFL, if you haven't already heard the news, the NFL wants to go to 18 games. And honestly, this is just the way that I'm thinking about it right now. The NFL wants to go to 18 games. The NFLPA said 17 might be feasible. But a lot of money needs to come out. If the players get any win on contracts this coming CBA, Grady Jarrett's contract is going to be a leader in the clubhouse along with Aaron Donald to get more of that dough. And it really, I don't know about you guys, but to me, Grady Jarrett getting this contract opens the door a little bit wider for a couple of those big boys to suck in that gut and squeeze right through into that big money. And if you're a Falcons teammate, obviously you are very happy for Grady to get his contract. He has been a leader. Dan Quinn has expected him to be more of a leader, more vocal, more of a powerhouse. And understandably, Dan Quinn has been frustrated with how the defense has been put together. And this was one of his main pieces. He also said that Tyler Davidson will be one of the bigger guys on his radar. Maybe even give him a contract going towards the end of the season, depending on what happens. Another guy that Dan Quinn has singled out, Deidre Sanat. Matt Tate with it. I present to you Grady Jarrett. And it should be very interesting going forward how the actual breakdown of dollar to dollar is going to be, because they say 17 million. Is some of that money backloaded? Will it be flat? Will there be escalators? Very interesting conversation that we're going to be having over the next couple of weeks as the dead season begins to end, that's starting to really ramp me up, starting to get me really in the mood to start breaking down some film and be on Twitch and do long film breakdowns for you guys and the short ones here on YouTube. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, y'all. I'm feeling it. Honestly feeling it. So as this CBA begins to turn, we ask, who's next? I don't care who's next, but who's next in order? Julio Jones would be the next guy. The question is, how many years do you want to give Julio Jones? Grady Jarrett gets his four-year, $68 million, $17 million per year deal. And now Julio Jones will be coming in here to grab a brand new contract or an extension of that contract. And I wonder, because Arthur Blank said Grady Jarrett's deal will be done before training camp. Well, boom. It's like he predicted the future. It's like he knew exactly what was going to be happening. And he said Julio will be getting a brand new deal before training camp. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I wonder what drama will unfold when we get close to training camp. Because if Arthur Blank said that Grady's deal was going to be done by the time that his limit came around, by the 4 o'clock bell, and we hit that at about 2:59, then that must mean that Julio Jones' deal should be coming up within the next week. And I promise you that if Julio Jones gets another deal, I will be the first person to go, well, how much more money are you really going to invest into this offense? Because our defense, yeah, you got a guy paid, but what in the heck are you doing over here? And maybe that's just the defensive-minded guy in me who wants to see more defensive players paid. But, God damn, Julio Jones is most likely going to be getting a pretty nice chunk of change. And we were this close. We were this close to Grady not getting this deal. 60 minutes, and we would have not had a deal. And I was praying as I was running between parts of my house to make sure things were set up just in case something were to go absolutely haywire. Because I was going to start the stream at 3 o'clock and start counting down the minutes. But as I got set up, I was dreading. I was going, oh no, I hope we don't have one of those situations where somebody's trying to use a fax machine and oh no, the papers don't go through, the data doesn't go through. For some reason, the contract's not signed, the ink is not freshly dried where it needs to be dried. And look, you're going to hear from a lot of other Falcons analysts over the next couple of hours, where they're going to start talking about Grady Jarrett gets this contract and he hasn't been to a Pro Bowl and he hasn't done this accolade and he hasn't done that accolade. And he hasn't potentially finished up this or that, and this is why he shouldn't get this money. You're going to see it all over ESPN and Fox News and CBS and all. They're going to question everything that is Grady Jarrett, and I understandably get where they're coming from, except for the fact that it doesn't matter. As The Rock has always said, it doesn't matter what you think or what you say. And I stand by that, because you go to try to add this pressure on Grady Jarrett, there is no Grady Jarrett pressure. There's no pressure on the shoulders of a Grady Jarrett. He just has to come out and play. Because Grady's going to come out and play heavy. Already information coming out now that Grady Jarrett's deal being done, 4 years, $68 million, $17 million a year, that the Julio Jones deal is coming. But now, if you really want to if you really want to have a laugh, everybody in here, laugh emojis, because Jadeveon Clowney is the last person that's on a franchise tag and has not signed, and there are about a little less than 45 minutes. A little less than 45 minutes. If Jadeveon Clowney does not sign his deal, which they are not in a good place to sign this, then I expect Jadeveon Clowney to potentially be a free agent in 2020, which will give everybody a heart attack because he will be the main story of the 2020 free agent acquisition period. Now, look, Grady Jarrett getting this contract, where do we now sit defensively? And how many of you, and chat, please, I want you to tell me your thoughts. I'm reading some of your stuff. But tell me your thoughts. How comfortable are you now that Grady Jarrett is locked up? How comfortable are you with this Falcons defense? Because honestly, in my general opinion as a Falcons fan and as someone who covers the Falcons not only from the film side of it, but also as an announcer, I look at this unit and I go, I was never worried until, well, I wasn't really worried about Grady Jarrett up until maybe a few hours ago when I thought, it's just not going to get done. I was confident yesterday that a Grady Jarrett deal was going to get done today. Somehow I woke up this morning on the wrong side of the bed and I was like, it's fucked. We're all dead. Grady Jarrett's not going to get a contract. There's no way. We never wait this long. And I was hearing people from my own Unintentional Grounders group, my own subscribers, people that I felt were close in my party, telling me things that made me really second guess myself. And honestly, now that I felt like I stuck to my guns, I didn't post anything that the Grady Jarrett contract was not going to happen. But the drama is finally over. Now I can actually drink. I'm going to have a stiff drink. And I feel that this talent, this group of talent, after this whole thing was about to unfold before our eyes, and now here we are, currently. I think Charles Nelson is posting the current salary cap of $6 million, a little over $6 million, not reflecting whatever the numbers will say about Grady Jarrett's extra $2 million that he will be getting. Of course, that can be kind of up and down, and we don't know if they're going to move some stuff. Real Pat Man in the admin chat going, I told you this would get done. What we're going to do, because the Grady Jarrett contract happened, is we're going to go do a live drinking stream on Twitch. And we're just going to chill, have some beers, and talk some stuff while playing some games and chillax for the rest of the day. And that will be coming up after the show. We're still going to talk some more on this show. I wanted to get Mad Mike in here. He seems to be a little bit busy. And per Adam Schefter, right as I start to move some stuff, now that the Falcons have reached an agreement on the $68 million deal with Grady Jarrett, Atlanta is turning its attention not to Julio Jones, but to Deion Jones. Everybody in here, shock and awe. Falcons and Jones agent scheduled for face-to-face negotiations in Atlanta on Wednesday on another deal. Deion Jones and his agent will be visiting the Atlanta Falcons on Wednesday to get the Jones deal done. And if Debo signs a deal, I swear to God, everything will go up in flames. Everything will go up in flames, and this should be interesting. The A-bomb that I did not think was going to happen, we now get into some very interesting territory. What is Deion Jones worth? D. Grant, or AKA 50 Milli, comes in here. I'm really comfortable with them paying Grady $17 million. I think it's fair for both sides. I thought an unfair pay for Grady Jarrett would have been over 20. And that 19-18 area was just a bit too rich for me. And I was actually very comfortable with 15 to 16. But honestly, the franchise tag was not that big of a deal to me. I was like, a franchise tag, okay, whatever. I just didn't want Grady Jarrett and Vic Beasley both without long-term deals, and for us to start talking about $28 million worth of basically blockbuster rentals. Not hating on Blockbuster, but that's what it would be like if you had Vic Beasley on a fifth-year option and they're not even trying, and Grady Jarrett on a franchise tag totaling $28 million combined. I thought that was just a waste. But now we got Grady Jarrett under contract, and I'm wondering how much, if any, money that we save and now I just want to start, ramping up negotiations with Deion Jones. Here we go. We ramp up these negotiations with Deion Jones. Remember, you got to have money. You got to have money to make these things turn. And honestly, now Deion Jones potentially getting a deal, at least ramping up the negotiations because they don't have to get a deal done immediately. But Deion now potentially working out this stuff. According to ESPN pass rushing metrics powered by the NFL Next Gen Stats, Grady Jarrett beat his block by 2.5 seconds on 33.7% of his pass rushes, which was the third highest rate among defensive tackles and nose tackles last season, including the playoffs, behind only one man. Say his name in the chat if you know who this is. If you know who Grady Jarrett is right behind, say it in the chat. .5 seconds on 33.7% of his pass rushes, only behind Aaron Donald. Woo! There is one other guy that was in that mix. One other guy that was in that mix that was only 1 percentage point better than Grady Jarrett, and that was Kawan Short. Kawan Short's just doing amazing things where he is. So if you're in the same discussion as Aaron Donald, Kawan Short, and Grady Jarrett, please, if you're not those names, please sit down. If you're not in that category, sit down, please. You don't need to be talking. And that is that is some stats right there. That is some stats right there. Of course, everybody held their ammunition. Everybody held their ammunition. But now we're talking about Julio Jones and Deion Jones, and Adam Schefter comes out with the news that Deion Jones will meet with his agent and representatives of the Atlanta Falcons on Wednesday to begin discussions of a brand new contract. Julio Jones has been said by Arthur Blank that his contract will be done before training camp. I hope he's not lying through his teeth, because he didn't lie about the Grady Jarrett stuff. Tack McKinley with the heat at Adam Schefter. Woo! We started it now, boys! We started it now. Tack McKinley on Twitter. Gonna screenshot the shit out of this because I love it. SpongeBob meme at Adam Schefter. Jarrett hasn't been voted to a Pro Bowl nor had more than 6 sacks in a season. Clown emojis. Woo! Tack, you're so spicy! Tack, you're so spicy! Tack took all the hot sauce. Tack took all the hot sauce and poured it all over Twitter. Give it to him. Tack, you're the best Twitter follow I have ever followed in my life. First he calls out D-Led. Now he shits on Schefter. Oh! Oh. Oh my God. Can I retweet this twice? Oh my God. Oh my Lord. I just retweeted it. I'm going to tweet it again. I'm going to tweet it again. With some extra spicy meatball. At Tack Kinley. Pouring the extra spicy sauce on these guys. Whoa! Sweet. Holy. Interesting stuff going around here. Hey, can somebody put can somebody put Tack's face on that hot sauce that I just tweeted? You would be a legend in my community. Honestly would be a legend in my community. Honestly would send you a free Unintentional Grounding t-shirt. This is insane. That all it took was Grady Jarrett getting a deal, and suddenly everybody and their brother has 2 cents to say something about Grady Jarrett, and then Tack comes out with the machine gun. And I saw Panthers fans, for those of you that are in here, I saw Panthers fans come out and they were like, please don't sign a long-term deal, Grady Jarrett. Too late, buddy. Okay. Enough fun. Let's get down to business. I honestly think that this Falcons defense, with the pieces that it currently has, Tack, Vic, Grady, Snot, Davidson, Crawford, Agman, Kaminsky, Claiborne, I think this group right here, this is it. This is it. This is a group right here that I have that can make noise. Health will be a concern for some of these players, but I'm so excited. I'm honestly incredibly excited for what is to come. This is a very good group. I don't know if it's the group that can take us all the way, but just for you Falcons fans, I'm going to say this. This group's very talented. Jason Butt, who writes for The Athletic, Atlanta, says, source confirms Adam Schefter number of $68 million over 4 years for Grady Jarrett. Judging by Twitter, it seems some folks are shocked this got done. That kind of surprises me. The Falcons are one of the few teams with an owner who will spend to keep the guys in town. Look, man, you don't cut guys that have been working. You don't draft guys and then throw them away. You don't send people to pasture before their time. I'm honestly just going to say this right up. Grady Jarrett getting this contract, Deion Jones immediately being cited as meeting with the Falcons organization on Wednesday to start contract negotiations. Arthur Blank saying that Julio will get his deal done before camp. And the fact that the only other person that I can really see who will need a contract going forward will be Austin Hooper, because we'll have Neal on a 5th-year option. Honestly, man, this is a group of guys, and I just can't see any other group in Falcons history that I am this motivated to say are winners, are hard workers, are blue collar. And I'm motivated to come out and do more film for them. And honestly, I can't wait. My name is Lieutenant Dan. This was Unintentional Grounding Live. Thank you guys for rolling by. Super excited that Grady Jarrett got his contract. One of my favorite players. Honestly, one of my favorite players from Clemson. And well deserving of a contract. Well deserving of a contract. Truly well deserving of a contract. If you want to talk, continue the discussion of Grady Jarrett, continue the discussion of Atlanta Falcons stuff, meet me over on twitch.tv/unintentional grounding. Link is in the description. Link is in the description of this video. And I will be on Discord in a little bit to have a full discussion with everybody in here that wants to talk Falcons football. We'll start that at 6 o'clock today. I'll have a discussion with you guys on Discord in the live chat and talk to you voice to voice and hear your opinions on how things have gone. And I'm just so excited, so happy that this has happened. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you guys for being here and supporting the channel. We're almost to 4K, guys. Almost to 4K followers here on Twitter. Or, on YouTube. And I honestly got to say that you guys have just made this possible, and I want to thank every single one of you guys for doing so. Rise up, stay grounded, take it easy. See you guys on Twitch for some gaming, and then 6 o'clock on Discord for some more talk with you guys. You're listening to nothing but the facts and the truth from your boy Lieutenant Dan here on Unintentional Grounding, and I hope to see you guys again very, very, very soon. Peace.